old ways. Let's take a listen, guys. Okay. Yeah.
So here I am once again, feeling good. I must be out of excuses, and I would. Feels like it came out of nowhere this time. Wish I had someone else to blame. I tell myself I'm only human. I know I said never again. Temptation feels like it never ends. I'm sliding powerless as
Sounds
I
like the devil, guys.
descend back into my old ways again.
Yeah.
Back into my old ways again.
Yeah.
Back into my old ways again.
Yeah.
Thought I would never go back, but just this once.
All right, guys. Yes. So the first song, "My Old Ways," like I said from the beginning, this was a song that I've actually listened to. I actually done a reaction to, on my main reaction channel. Yes. This song, "My Old Ways," I love how starts in this really really lo-fi, almost demo like type of space. You can literally hear the room. It's intimate, it's raw, and slightly imperfect. And then suddenly, boom, back into my old ways again. That high fidelity, Tame Impala polish, kicks in. You get these warm scents, layers, deep bass swirls, and that signature rhythmic, pulse, that Kevin Parker, is known for. What I love, is how the production mirrors the story. The track, starts off, fragile, like someone trying to get, back on their feet, then blossoms into, something lush and full, only, to suddenly collapse back in on itself near the end. It's almost like relapse in sound form. The feeling of progress followed by regression. That's powerful storytelling through production, if you ask me. Drum wise, I feel like this is the classic Tame Impala. It's tight, it's punchy, but drenched in psychedelic space. The hi-hats shimmer. I mean, the kick sits right in that groove pocket, and those synth textures, guys, they are hypnotic, but slightly uneasy, which to me fits the theme perfectly. Yes, vocally, Kevin Parker, sounds, hauntingly human here. I have to say, I mean, he's never been about, showing off range or runs. To me, it's about emotion, it's about texture, and how the voice, blends into the soundscape. On this song, My Old Ways, you can definitely hear, this almost an exhausted, vulnerability. This man is not belting. It feels more like he is confessing. There's a moment where he sings, "Powerless, as I, descend back into my old ways again." You know, and I feel like at that line it just flows like a sigh. That's been held in too long. Yeah. What's really, really interesting is how the vocals sit slightly behind the mix, almost submerged. It's as if, he's sinking into the music, which symbolically reflects him sinking back into those old patterns. That's not an accident. To me, it's an artistic choice. Kevin Parker's voice becomes part of the emotion, instead of standing apart from it. Yes. So one may ask, what is this song, My Old Ways, what is it all about? To me, I mean, it's Kevin Parker, confronting relapse. Not necessarily, in a substance sense, but in a human sense of, feeling back into who you used to be. It's about self-awareness and frustration. That feeling, of trying to grow, trying to change, but realizing you are just looping. That is what the song captures so beautifully, in my opinion. Lyrically, it's simple, but painfully honest. Certain lines in there, I tell myself, I'm only human, and temptations feels like, never ends. Speak, to that universal struggle. The gap between what we know and what we do. It's not self pity, it's self recognition, and pairing that with such hypnotic, almost circular production definitely creates this emotional loop that I feel like feels inescapable. I don't know if that makes sense. Yes, to me, it's like the song. It's To me, it's like the song itself is stuck, in the same cycle, it's describing. That's genius in the songwriting, if you ask me personally. So yeah, My Old Ways, is classic, Tame Impala introspection, dressed in a new sonic wardrobe. The production, is raw yet lush. The vocals are wary, but so real, and thematically, it's one of Kevin Parker's most relatable, you know, tracks. Yeah, for a first time listener such as myself, I'm yet to check out more of his music. I mean, it's not flashy, it's reflective. Yes. If this track definitely sets the tone for this album Deadbeat, then I have to say we are in for something deeply personal. Maybe even uncomfortable, but I mean in the best way possible. But that is just me. I really, really want to hear from you guys. What do you think of the song My Old Ways? Did the lyrics hit home for you, or were you drawn to that hypnotic groove? Please drop your thoughts in the down the comment section. Let's talk about it.